One of the things I have actually noticed over the years is that most times we feel that whenever we are pursuing a goal or career, or whenever we have a situation that might have gotten too much of us, or that we have actually invested a lot in, we tend to fall short of the fact that the journey can take a new turn entirely. In fact, I realized that sometimes you might have a particular plan for yourself, and eventually you realize that things are not just working, your plans are not summing up, the results are not adding up. It's as if you are putting in a whole lot of effort and getting nothing in return. And the major point of reference for me today is about women that have gone through a kind of marital affair, situations pertaining to relationship, and at the end of it, they realize that they are not actually getting enough, even putting in much effort. They are not coming to terms with their partner, and things are not actually working out. And eventually, it gets to a point that you just have to do the needful. And at the back of your mind, you're having the conviction that the needful should be you letting it go. And when you let it go, or when you're thinking you should let it go, you are filled with the thought of what is going to happen afterwards. How do I cope? What is going to be the turning point for me? Will I ever be able to get past it? How will I be able to navigate? And the question is just endless. But I figured that when you let go of something, you're actually saying yes to something else. And these have been able to sum up the old idea I've gotten as regards to you starting over. Now, the topic is mainly for single mothers or those that have actually gone through a divorce or been in a situation that has to do with relationship that warrants them letting it go. And they are trying to find, another journey, another life entirely for themselves out of the shattered and the pieces they actually have left from the previous one they're coming from. So these notions are the things I have actually developed, and I looked back at my life. I realized that it has actually worked for me, and because it worked for me, it can work for people. Not everybody, but I believe it can work for people as well. People that are looking forward to starting a new journey. People that don't actually believe there is going to be a turnaround for them, or those that don't actually see beyond where they are. Initially, when I was in the relationship, I was not actually seeing beyond where I was. I was thinking there is no other life outside that. I feel that my entire experience should at least help me be able to go through the time. But instead, things were just happening in the opposite. And because of that, I was thinking there is no better place, there is no better life, and there is no better world. But one thing I was able to understand is that me letting go of that gave me the opportunity to start again. I realized that your life might not entirely be the same as regards to the life you have had in the past, but it will change in some instances that will favor you now and might not even favor you now, but will favor you in the future. That is why when you're thinking of letting go of something, you don't think about it on the surface level. You think about it on a deeper level. That is, as you're thinking about it now, you're looking at now. Deeper level is you looking at it in the future. How is this going to impact me later on? What I'm giving into this, what I'm letting go, am I going to be able to attract something that is best for me? So starting over is just a way of you being able to do over, you able to live your life based on your notions and your own standards. It's all about you being able to see things for what they are and you inculcating new habits that has to do with your personal self that will lead you to your future. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that starting over in life should not be the end, should not be the end, and it should not be a problem too much if we are seeing beyond where we are. And the notion is coming from the fact that some of us are filled with limiting beliefs. We believe there is no other way around. We believe our circumstances are meant to be there. They are not supposed to help us shaping anything. But with the notion of starting over, I was able to realize that most of the things that has actually happened in the past, that have happened to me when I was in my ex-marriage, was actually a lesson that is guiding my present life. And at the end of the day, because it is guiding my present life, I am able to make better decisions and even see my future on a clear level. So starting over is just you giving yourself the opportunity to rewrite your story. You're giving yourself the opportunity to redo things. It's about you helping yourself thrive and build that you again. You might feel that there is a part of you that you're letting go, but at the same time, there's going to be a part of you that you're actually building again that you yourself have not seen. And that part will definitely begin to come to place when you decide to let things go and pick up something new. Now, when I started over, it wasn't easy. That is one thing I want you to understand. It is not going to be an easy journey. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be scary. You're going to be filled with a lot of what if, what if, what if, what if, and that's a lot of doubt. You're going to be questioning your own belief. You're going to be questioning your own thoughts. You're going to be questioning the things that has happened to you before. You're even going to question your own future. But I realized that that cycle is the first phase, and if you're able to go through the first phase, you realize that there are lots to what you're not even saying. And that first phase is what I actually call the mindset. Sometimes your mindset can be the one sabotaging you. It might be keeping you away from the choices and opportunities you can actually have. It can even keep you away from your true potentials because you'll be feeling that there is no other way around it. But you should be able to see beyond where you're starting from. You should be looking at the future, the kind of thing you want to see in yourself at later years, and the kind of life you want to have. Even if you don't live to see another day, you dine with the thought and intention that I have this belief about myself is a very good thing. Honestly, as much as I don't want to talk about it, but at the same time, when a lot of people are asked on their deathbed, what is the thing they regret most in their life, they will definitely come up with a lot of things they wish they could have done. And out of the fact that they are having this limited mindset and a kind of restriction around their thoughts and way of life, they did not actually do it. And as they lie on their bed, facing their death, they feel that if they are actually composed, they would have loved to do things differently. And at the same time, I realized that, just like I mentioned earlier, when you start over, it will do you a lot of good. You're going to feel with a lot of conviction, not just about yourself. After you've actually crossed the mindset level, you'll be able to understand how much you can go and eventually how much you're willing to go. The reason why most of us are not achieving success is because we don't really see success. We don't really see success as a goal. We see it as a kind of position. We don't really see success as the circumstances around it. We see it as a target, a focus. Though you have it as a goal, but at the same time, you need to understand that there are stages and strategies that has to come with this thing. And if you're not willing to follow that stage and strategies, it shows you're not even willing to achieve the success in the first place. So I figure that it is really good for you to see yourself and understand that there are potentials and there are opportunities within yourself. Only if you are allowing yourself to be you, only if you're seeing yourself for who you are. Nobody will see you for who you are when you don't see yourself first. And at the same time, even if people are seeing you for who you are, when they try to pitch that to you and make you understand and feel that, you might not be seeing that immediately because you are not seeing it. And because you're not seeing it, you're obstructing the things you can actually achieve. So I figured that starting over did not just give me an opportunity to do things again, but it gave me the ability to see myself for who I was. I was able to understand that I can actually stand in front of people and talk. Even though that has been my interest, my point of notion right from time, but the fact that I'm able to do it in the real sense of the word, I'm able to film, talk to people, and when I talk to people, some give me negative feedback, and at the same time, some are actually giving me feedbacks that is encouraging, that make me understand that really I have these things in me. Not just about that, I was able to put down my thoughts into writing and give to people to read. Well, they commented that one or two information has actually helped them change their life. So it's an opportunity for you to see yourself for who you are. You see yourself beyond where you are. You see yourself as work in progress. You see yourself as a kind of gold mine that is about to be bursted by those that actually know the worth. So that is the thing I was able to realize during the journey, and it is so good for some of us that are struggling and battling with a lot of problems and issues, lots of emotional baggage. Why don't you just try to start things over? Do it again and see what will happen. And when you are doing it again, you're taking note of the things that have actually happened to you in the past. You're looking at the future and you're looking at your present situation. Now you're putting these three things together to see for yourself. Eventually, if you let things go and you take a break, you stop and reflect, then you start again. I bet that you're going to be seeing things you're not seeing before. And even if you see things you're not seeing before and you try to do it again, it's not working, it shows something has to be done. Or you change your purpose, you change your goal, you change your focus. Maybe there is an intention that is not right. Maybe there is a purpose you're not achieving. Or maybe there is a message that is about to be passed across to you that you're not getting. When I was able to let my marriage of 7 to 8 years go, as much as I tried to push harder, even at the time when I was letting it go, I was still trying and battling to see it go. But the moment I stopped trying, I was able to figure that I was not actually the problem. The problem was with my partner. And not just with him alone, the problem was with both of us on this level of not understanding and sharing the same, not just opinion, I meant the same life, the same future. We actually thought we can build things together, but we have opposite interests and opposite way of life. And because of that, we also share different mindsets. And that has actually affected the results we're getting. That is actually affecting our compatibility and a lot of things. So I figured that me stopping and not trying, I was able to see. And while I was able to see, I was able to pinpoint the things I would have actually wanted in a guy, the thing I would have actually wanted in a man, the kind of relationship I would have actually wanted. And at that point, I was able to understand that, oh my God, there is a message that is being passed across to me that I've been blindfolded about. And because I stopped, I was able to see that. And do you know what happened? The moment I decided, okay, I'm going to try this again, I tried to make things work again, and still it remained the same. Then I realized that there is no other option than to just let it go. So you trying again will make you understand if there is still a way out or not. And when you try, you see that you're getting the same result, just like you have been getting over the past tryouts, then you feel it is time to let it go. And when you let it go, you'll be able to see yourself. After I've been able to pinpoint the things I would have actually wanted in a guy, how I would have wanted my marriage relationship settlement to be, I already have that in the back of my mind that even if I'm going into any marriage, and which is not even anytime soon, I figured that these are the standards and the norms I would actually appreciate. And because I'm not seeing that in my previous marriage, does not mean it is not out there. Because something is not working for you where you are, does not mean it is not working for others out there. It is just because you are not living where you are to get out there so you can get that thing. And I think that is one of the things I noticed about starting over. You are not actually putting yourself in the picture that will place you in the position to get something. So it is now left to you to see it as an opportunity. If you don't step out, if you don't come out, you won't be able to get there. You agree with me that when you are able to let go of whatever it is that is troubling you, the moment you step outside the box and start thinking another way around, you see that you start meeting new people, you get new opportunities, you might even get a different job. And when you're able to come across all these things, realize that something new will start coming to you that will not lead you a step from the first one to the other, that will eventually start taking you to where you actually wanted to be. That's how the way things work. And Alhamdulillah, for where I am today is just like a step forward to the kind of life I would have actually wanted. Do I still, and I'm still working towards endlessly, inshallah, that I'm going to be quitting this job and starting my own business, inshallah. But at the same time, I realized that I am moving closer to the kind of purpose I want. The job is not actually restricting me. Or let me start with, I'm actually able to work on like where I'm coming from. And at the same time, the work I'm actually doing is not restricting me from chasing a future I've always wanted. Unlike where I was coming from. Now, let's say I did not leave the relationship back then. I won't be where I am today. And even if I am here, I will be in a different position entirely. So that is the way things work. So our starting over is just a way of you seeing yourself for who you are and embracing the opportunities that comes. And that does not mean there won't be challenges at the end of the day. You're going to be facing a lot of challenges, a lot of disturbance, a lot of doubt. But at the same time, you need to understand that if you don't put yourself out there, you won't be attracting what is best for you. There are three to four ways I've been able to go around this when I started. I'm going to make that as brief as possible. And the first thing I was able to do when I was starting over is reflection of the past. Just like I've been able to mention so far, you start over. The first thing that should come to your mind is that you're not just stopping, you're stopping to observe. And that is reflection. You take note of all the things that have happened to you in the past. How did it go? Okay, I noticed that my marriage was not working. What has happened? What's changed? What is the problem? What are my observations? What are my inputs? What are his inputs? What did we eventually come out of? And what are the challenges we had along the way? Who caused it? Okay, it's not a matter of who now. What caused it? Now it's not also a matter of what. How did it end it? How did it happen? How did it start? I was able to ask myself a lot of questions about the past. Probably you're trying to chase a dream or goal and it is not working. When you're pausing, reflect. What steps did I make? What are the things I missed? What are the things I did not notice? And I'm going to use a notion that might not actually fit in well, but I'm going to be using this notion, which is you focus on your goal and take note of the circumstances around it and pay attention to the circumstances around it. Sometimes the goal is to remain in, to have a particular goal, but at the same time, there are some circumstances around it that we are not taking note of. So that's what I want you to picture at this point. You reflect on what has happened in the past. What went wrong? What worked? What did not work? How did I do it? What did I do? How did I go around it? Why isn't it working? You can ask tons and tons of questions. And mind you, whenever you're asking this question, all your answers are not going to be correct. That means that all the answers you are giving to it, you should not dwell on them. You might be giving yourself better answers that is the one to be blamed, while both of you are the ones to be blamed. I am not just faulting my ex-husband, I am faulting myself for not seeing him initially. And at the same time, I am not faulting him alone, I am also faulting myself for allowing such union to rip me off my choices and not speaking up when I'm supposed to. So it is a two-way thing, not a one-way thing. You are not the only one. You're not the only one putting, and he's also not the only one putting. So when you're reflecting on the past, you don't just put the blame on somebody else or on something. You're also going to be putting whichever blame at first on yourself because you are the one that's supposed to control the situation, and because you're not able to control it shows you lost the focus and you lost the attention. So that is it. You reflect on the past. What has happened in the past? How did it go? What are the things you did not do well? What are the outcomes you noticed when you were taking those actions? What are the things you would have actually wanted? You just make up questions around the past and you question yourself. Then when you're able to question yourself, those answers are not going to come to you immediately. Some will do come to you immediately, but some will come to you as you give yourself that settled mind that you're pausing and you're trying to make some observations. And the next thing that I actually did that worked for me was that when I reflected on the past, I looked at my current situation which was analyzing the present. Now, the past has actually brought me here, and it shows what I'm doing now will take me to my future. So it shows the difference between my past and my future is my present moment. So this present moment, what control will I be having over the past? That is very, very small. And what control will I be having over the future? And that is infinite. So it shows I should be putting my attention into the future and looking for. You get me this time? It shows that I am putting much of my attention in my present now so as to lead me into my future, and that is what I want you to focus on. You notice that most of the things that have happened to you in the past, you are not in control of them. So it is time to release it and let it go. Then look at your present situation, your current situation. What are the things you're facing? Has the past caused you pain? Are you willing to let it go? Do you still want to continue to live with this pain? You look at yourself, what kind of life are you living? What kind of choices are you making? Are you still living in the past or you're living in the present? And looking at yourself where you are you comfortable with where you are? Do you still want to be in this position regardless of what you're facing, regardless of what you're seeing? Are you still willing to stay here for as long as it takes? Or you're willing to use your present to shape in your future? When I started giving myself that question and analysis, I realized that there are so many things I actually want to change about myself. There are so many things I've learned about the past, and because I've learned that about the past, I'm using that as lessons for my present, which will eventually reflect into my future. You are here now because of the things you have done some years back, and in the nearest future, you will be in that future based on the things you are doing presently. So I was able to understand that and give myself that clarity, and that was what brought me to the third thing, which is to plan my future. What do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? What kind of man do you want to be with eventually? What kind of kids do you want to have? If you have opportunity to live the entire life again, what would you have done differently? What are the things you would have actually wanted to achieve if you're not being obstructed? If you're a woman of your own, a woman of greater circumstances, a woman of choices and standards and rules and boundaries, what would you have actually wanted to be called for and known for? Now it's time to plan. You're planning your future, giving yourself the opportunity to reshape in your story. You're planning your future, giving yourself the opportunity to rewrite your story and let people know, not even people, letting yourself know that you're born for more and you have the control over your future. Even if you don't have the control over the entire situation, the entire future, the entire result, but you have control over the steps you're willing to take. Reflect on the past, you analyze the present, and you plan your future. So, what are the things you're willing to do? What are those things you've ever wanted in your life? Can you do this? Is not the question, how do I go about this? That is the right question. You don't ask why, you ask how. Because when you're asking why, you're trying to get answers that might not eventually be objective. But when you're asking how, you're giving yourself opportunities to make your way around the situation. And one of the things that I've actually noticed about starting over in life that people miss, and most of these divorcee or those of us that are actually ended our marriage because of a lot of reasons that we can't actually live it that is genuine enough is because whenever we decide on something, we don't really have a goal or a purpose, and that has caused most of us to fail in planning the future. And eventually, when some of us plan the future, we are not consistent. Consistency as regards to you need to understand that there are going to be challenges regardless. You stepping out of a situation does not mean the next one is not going to be filled with another situation. Yes, you rising today does not mean you can't fall tomorrow. And because you already understood that you can fall, it's going to be an assurance to you that whenever you fall, you should be willing to pick yourself back up. Being consistent in action is you following suit regardless of what happens, regardless of you being happy, regardless of you being sad, regardless of you being whatever it is you want to call this, you should be able to be consistent. When you're consistent, then you are actually going to be seeing that future you have planned for yourself. Being consistent means you have said no to something, you're not going back to it. Being consistent means you have set a future for yourself and you're planning your way around it. Being consistent means your present dictated to you that you are making some mistakes and you shouldn't focus. You have done the mistakes right. Being consistent means you have turned the mistakes to lesson, and these lessons are going to be your stepping stone towards your journey. I've seen most of we women whenever we eventually get out of a situation, we don't have a purpose, and at the same time, we are not willing to work for that. The future is not just there, it's not going to build itself. You are the one that will put in the work. And let me tell you something. One thing is that I've learned through the past few years that I've been on this journey is that when you're trying to make a point, you've made the point to your partner and does not see that, it is time for you to prove to yourself that you're going to live up to that expectation of yourself. If you don't prove to yourself that you're going to live up to your own expectation, then you're failing yourself. Successful people out there are not living up to expectation to let somebody see them for who they are, but they themselves, seeing themselves for who they are. And when they live up to their own expectations, they realize that they are achieving more than they could have actually achieved in years or months back. So you owe yourself that opportunity to be who you are and to achieve for yourself. You don't owe anybody. It is your journey. It is your life. It is your purpose. It is your reason, your rules, your standards, your boundaries. You are not meant to prove to anyone that you're better or you're good. The only person you're in competition with is your past self. And if you don't see your past self as something that needs to be improved on, then you're not living at all. Now, this is just an overview of the way I've been able to start a life over, and I do hope it will help you. Everything might not help, and everything is obviously not going to be a waste. So all you have to do is pick your own path, the one that suits you and resonates with you. And I'm sorry I may not be able to touch every single aspect of the pain you're going through, but I believe the series of my videos will eventually touch you bits by pieces and help you through, just like I've been able to try through my journey. And if you know you, this video is one of those things you would actually love to watch because I figured that my life got better when I started watching videos that resonate with self-development and my self-healing and going through the journey that will lead to my future. If you know you're somebody like that, like me, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, and press the notification bell. And at the same time, I've been able to create a group. It's just free because I'm just starting. It's a group I've actually created for women like you and I that are facing lots of challenges, but it's a group that is about articles, notes, notions that I've been able to develop over the years as an as an abstract of the things I feel written down in wordings, and I believe it will definitely help you one way or the other. And as the channel group is on Telegram, I believe you'll be able to get some downloadable files that I've written for free that will actually help you write your story and help you embark on a better lifestyle journey. Until I see you in my next one. Bye.